Chad, my name is Carl. I think we met last night, actually, at another event. I've chosen 3 questions here, and
Carl, you want to give him his 2 minutes first? Let him have a 2-minute opening statement. Why would we do that?
right, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Chad Green. I'm running for McKinney Independent School District, place 6, which is an at-large. I was motivated to do this because of several reasons. It was very difficult to get in touch with people from McKinney that were in leadership. I've been trying for about 5 years just to volunteer my time. And then in November, I put together a program for about 18 school districts across the state to go meet at Fort Hood, Texas, and meet with the leadership there and do what's called Partnership Day. And I invited McKinney, and I didn't get any response, even via email, that we couldn't attend. But I was able to get Dallas ISD and Fort Worth ISD, and some, just really large districts. So that kind of rankled me a little bit. And then with the stadium deal, we don't have an NFL team in McKinney. $70 million is a little much to spend on it. I think we need to get our priorities back in order. I think our priorities are a little messed up with this. We don't need any edifices to any particular person or any school board as a whole. And so I'm here to get off my hiney and change some things, because I didn't do that for the football stadium. I didn't get out there and walk, and I should have done that. So this is what I'm doing in order to help change that. I've been involved for education for about 20 years. I've actually created tests in the state of Texas. Some of them you may have heard of. It's the Algebra Readiness Assessment System. It was called MSTAR. The other was called the Texas Math and Science Diagnostic System. I worked with Anita Gibbons on those tests, and several other PhDs at SMU and Tech and TU. See, I have to say that because I'm an Aggie. So, TU, and then at Texas A&M. So that's a little bit about me.
All right then, shall we get started? What are the 3 most important functions of the Board of Trustees? Please rate them in priority and support your choices.
Okay. I think the first priority is to listen to your constituents, listen to the people in McKinney. And I just don't feel that that's going on very much. I think that is the #1 choice. That's the most important thing. So you stay in touch with your group. I think when you have a board that's, many of the members have been there for over 10 years, that you have to start changing some things that are involved with that. Probably #2, I would say, would be not just graduation. I mean, everybody talks about graduation, right? But we have in McKinney a really, our population is made up mainly of higher kids that live in higher income households. So we're always going to have a really high graduation rate. And what we should be focused in on is certification programs that will get the kids jobs immediately out of high school, or get them on track at a university level that is beyond just associates. So I want them to excel. And probably the last one I would say would be budget. We've got to start watching the budget, because we're going to grow. We're not going to stay at 24,000. I expect to see us in 5 to 10 years at about 60,000 kids. And I think it could happen pretty quickly. So we need to be planning for that type of growth.
Okay. Should election dates be standardized? The primaries in March and all the other elections called general elections in November. To maximize participation and maintain a level playing field and avoid stealth elections are some of the reasons that we might do that.
I really do agree with that. With one caveat, if we need to have an emergency bond or some type of program to access funding, that we need to have that option as well.
What kind of a situation do you envision that would bring up an emergency bond?
Bad planning. I've been in districts, I know the superintendent at Ysleta ISD, and that's down in the El Paso area, and I know most of the members of the board. And there was some bad planning with a high school that they built, and quite a large portion of that building did not get on the books, and all of a sudden it showed up on the books, and you had everybody scrambling, trying to find funding. And so I would say we need to have a caveat for emergencies with that.
Okay. If you are elected, what would need to be accomplished in order for your term to be considered a success?
Let's see, if we had internships up around 200, I'd be really, really happy. And I wouldn't say that would be the ceiling, but that's probably what I would shoot for. I'd like to see about 200 internships really get given out to our kids. I want to see elementary school. I want to see pathways to career in college begin introduced in elementary school. I don't want it to start at high school. I want it to start at elementary. I think that's most of the data that I see coming back in. That's where the focus really needs to be, especially in getting young ladies involved in STEM education. Their exposure needs to be happening in elementary school.
Well, since we're ahead of schedule, I think we're going to slip in a fourth question.
Yeah.
How do you measure student success and rate MISD's performance to date?
I can't use the STAR test for MISD. It is, assessment's kind of my background. I work with PhDs in this area, and it's got a really low ceiling. So the STAR test was only created to really look at kids that are in the 50th percentile. That's really what it's. If you have a kid that's GT, they may answer 2 questions that will identify them as GT. So really, you don't get any valuable information on those kids.
How would you measure that?
There's growth measurements that have very high ceilings, collegiate level ceilings, and we need to be looking at those options. Not only that, but they also measure kids that are below the 40th percentile, which STAR really doesn't do either. It doesn't get those 2 ends. The purpose for that is to really have the kids that are low performing, help them move quickly, and reward those teachers that are involved in that movement with those kids.
Okay, so how do you think MISD is doing to date?
I think we're comparing ourselves against the wrong people. I think we need to be comparing ourselves with South Lake Carroll, with Highland Park, with Lake Travis ISD. I mean, these are really high-performing schools in Texas. And to get an accurate measure, you've got to start measuring more than just graduation rates and more than just STAR.
Okay.
I think we need to step up. Is that a good answer?
We're going to go to our lightning round.
Well, let's have him get him his 1 minute.
Oh, you want to do that first?
Let's do that, and then let's bring him out.
Okay.
Okay, you want to do the lightning round? Okay, give him his 1 minute, then we can go to the lightning round.
You wrap up for a minute.
Okay. If you support me in this election, and I really hope you do, there's some things that I have consulted with other school board members across the state that are very good friends that have been in the same type of situation. I am going to be the lone voice on the school board, and I will probably be saying no a lot. And that's okay. We need some accountability, but I need you to be there in those board meetings because I will probably, if they don't allow it as a part of the board agenda, I will probably sign up and take the floor and ask questions on the floor. And that's usually not done, but I'm going to need people there to be able to support that. And then I need you to then write the school district and write the other board members about their lack of response and those type of things. So I really want to change what's happening right now. I saw all the parents come up and speak at Walker, and I know for a fact that the leadership at McKinney ISD, because it was said to me, did not appreciate that at all. And I saw a whole lot of positive there. Those parents loved the principal that had previously been there. And that's what you want in a community, right? You want parents that are going to support. So that's what I'm focused on.
Okay, we'll move right into your lightning round then. As Mike said, there will be questions, which there's only 3 answers: yes, no, or pass.
Okay.
And if you don't feel like that you can answer the question adequately with yes or no, say pass, and we'll move on to the next one. If you say more than 1 word, I'll stop you right where you are. So let's follow the rules.
I give you the little hammer with us. Yeah.
Looking for the electrodes under the seat again.
Do you have any contracts or business dealings with the city, or do you expect to have any such arrangements while on council?
No.
Do you favor arming volunteer teachers in schools?
Carl, those are, the first one was about the city council, I think. Want to rephrase it to school board? Do you have any
School
contracts
board.
with the school board?
Well, I'm sorry.
This is under the MISD
Okay.
questions.
Okay, sorry.
For neither.
Neither, okay, there you go.
I think that really it should have said school board, but.
Sure should have, yeah.
That's okay.
I will not be doing any, I'll be doing some volunteering with the
One
school
word.
district.
Man, do you favor arming teachers in schools? Ten seconds.
I'll pass on that one.
Pass. The number of charter schools should be increased to provide more choice, yes or no?
Yes?
Will you commit to limiting the growth of MISD's budget to the sum of inflation plus student population growth?
Yes?
Have you ever been arrested or under investigation by a federal, state, or local government entity?
Yes.
I support SB 2 and HB 2, which caps budget growth to 2.5%. Yes or no?
Yes.
I support an election to approve any tax rate which results in a budget increase of more than 2.5%.
Can you say that again?
I support an election to approve any tax rate which results in a budget increase of more than 2.5%.
Yes.
I think more funding results in better educational performance.
No?
I believe that a lack of funding is the primary reason for lower educational outcomes.
No?
I believe that school bonds should be broken up into grouped categories similar to the way city bonds are divided up.
Pass?
Merit pay for teachers will result in retaining more good teachers. Yes or no?
Yes?
MISD's ratio of supporting personnel to teachers is a good ratio.
Yes?
Okay, thanks.
You actually got all the way finished then.
This is tough to do, folks. Let's see it there.